I built the Vanguard line of Cochrane to serve as a quick response to the fort, which was being built. I built it around October to November last year. But since I downloaded this new train add-on, I might as well just make it a train, like a real train station. So what I'm going to be doing is, I'm currently working on renovating Ovestead. I'm going to make it like a small little town. The railway is going to run through it, but it's not going to be a major place for it. So, yeah. It's going to service the Dorinsk area. Hey, look, a big sheep. Since Dorinsk is the biggest city, I refer to this as the Dorinsk area. It's a major producer of textiles. I might be a little autistic. I really like my fucking economic stuff in a game about placing blocks. I already placed crossing signals because fun. There are a few train stations. I mean, there are a few Generation 1. There's only a few generations. Sorry, my audio cut out. There's only a few Generation 1 railways that I aren't gonna redo. That would be the Andrew Cook tunnel line in Cook. Then the one going to the Frostlandic Dicky Mountains, because that line goes through cities, and the way the cities are built is they're really clean and close to the line. It's just not enough room for the trains, and it's just too, like, there are too many steep inclines that only the mine carts can pull off without, like, starting a ramp halfway across the line. So, yeah. I don't know if I should build a new train or just work on something else. I don't know. It's funny how I thought these train tracks would last forever, but they didn't. Just like that relationship I had. I don't know why my voice has been so light lately. This is my actual voice. I'm talking softly for some reason. I'll notice why, But anyways, back to it. So, yeah. I'm gonna talk in this voice. But yeah. It's just, the Vanguard line is incomplete. The Vanguard line was a massive, massive feat of engineering on my part. Because look how big this motherfucker is. If I can connect this to the Hollyton line or the Froston line, I will have connected basically over. At that rate, I would need to fill up areas because I would run out of coal halfway on the line. Yeah, let me give you a new 2025 for the rest of the 2025 little build roster. First off, what I'm planning on is a full downtown Cochrane revamp. more like an add-on, because I'm not really going to be upgrading much downtown, but I am going to be adding on to it. So, like, I'm going to work on the Society of Exploration campus area, and then I'm going to be working on the finance district, which would essentially complete Cochrane, as Cochrane couldn't expand anymore. So, yeah, Ovestead's going to be built up a little bit, and I'm tying the story into it, trying to get recognized as a city. Its population is limited. So the mayor of Ovestead is currently trying to get the city back in full by building attractions and stuff of that nature and working on the infrastructure. And they've actually, in order to get more investment, they have implemented the first Eastway that wasn't part of the narrow design. This Eastway is basically a truck. Now I've ran out of ties, so yeah. But this Eastway is essentially a huge delivery truck. I based it off a 1930s delivery truck. You can kind of see it. But, yeah, I'll show it to you real quick. Also, that's the texture pack. It's Dark Fantasy Visuals. It kind of reminds me of those SpongeBob Minecraft videos. Futuristic of. But yeah, anyways, this will be the meat. Here's the truck. Oops. The truck, I'm building a road for the truck right now. I don't know if I ever shown off the Eastways, but the Eastways are thin, narrow trucks that developed in Eastway, which is a part of Cochrane City. Eastway. Okay, so Eastway was originally a Cartwright company. However, the Cartwright company went out of business and was bought by a pawn shop company. The pawn shop company, they left the carts behind, and the son of the pawn shop owner decided he saw how the trains worked and how everything else worked. They worked with redstone cores. So he wired up a little system and managed to get a carriage moving without horses. And what's cool about these Eastways is they're light enough to be pulled by horses. So that really isn't an Eastway back there. It's basically just a truck. It just has the name Eastway because Eastway is vehicle. But anyways, here's what an Eastway looks like. First, we are at the Eastway pawn shop, formerly Eastway Cartwright. Here is what Eastways looks like. They're trucks. They're long carriages. Here's what I show what the truck looks like. But yeah, so they're long and narrow. That can actually carry stuff. Actually, I don't even think this Eastway can turn out. That's how narrow these buildings are. Considering the lore of my Minecraft world, this little apartment complex has been for rent for about 400 years now, almost 400 years. So that's funny. And I'm gonna end this little update off with a life update. Uh, I decided to go back to homeschool, remote school. I did this because I'm constantly sick. I had encephalitis during the summer, and I was just having my grades tanked for no reason. And that like my AP physiology teacher decided that when I'm not there, she's just gonna give me zeros, and those zeros add up and make it hard to recover. Even if they're skewed, she gives zeros. I also just wanted to have my life. I wanted to enjoy being a kid for like what? I graduate in May, so like I have about 6 months left when I'm a kid. Being able to stay up all night playing video games. I'm at this little twilight at the truly watching the years go by and truly seeing that my freedom is rapidly approaching at the cost of my financial freedom. So like, yeah, I'm going to go to college. I'm gonna take the ACT next month. I should really start studying. I've just been so busy, but now I finally have time to myself, and every day goes by a lot slower now. I'm not a Christian. I don't know what I am spiritually. I know I, I don't know what I am. But I've always imagined a deity to be very, very hateful. And our ultimate goal in life is to worship this evil creature. Even if our afterlife is pure suffering, because of this life is pure suffering too. So yeah, that would be the life update for this portion of the video. So, I don't think I've ever given a proper house tour. So, I'm going to give a proper house tour. This is my house. House of Coker. Established 20th of April, 2024. Now, I don't know if I've ever shown it off before, I think I have, but I originally had a house in Central Brooklyn. But I decided it was too small, so I decided to upgrade. Now, at this point, I should have the fucking money, but I don't know why I've never built a house for me in this game. I've never built myself a proper house in this world. I used to only focus on building mansions. I don't know, I don't really have my player character be a character in the world. Because with how the timeline works in my world, my player would die times. Never really do the impact of story, but he'd be the same person, and it would make sense for someone to be impacting the story. 400 years later, still alive, still kicking. So, and just figured, man, it gets really dark. Figured that it would just be better to leave my character out of the story. For my character is in the story to bring in ancient past. Because at this point, my character's 400 something. So, yeah, that's partially the reason why I don't give myself mansions. Now, I was going to plan to build a mansion for myself. It would have been more of a castle, really. And it would have been Sonorad's palace. Technically, my palace is... Currently, my palace is Rastrad's house. Rastrad, I don't think I've even explained Rastrad. So much stuff has gone by in my Minecraft world, and I have not explained a damn lick of it. So Rastrad, after Sonrad died, he was the king, as the Mayfield Tribunal was being established. The Tribunal being the government, since we're shifting from the monarchy to a representative, well, not technically representative, but sort of less focused power. The Tribunal is being built over there. There's a Tribunal building. So it's based off the concept of a Trinity, but it's statecraft. So like 3 aspects, all independent, whatever the same, being the same, making one being. So you have 2 parts. You have 2 triumphs. You have the War Triumph and the Benjamin Triumph. Rastrad's story has been paused. Rastrad, so I guess it's in a lot of time has passed since Rastrad was in March 2025. That's when he came out. So it would have been, I forgot how the dates worked in my world. It was add 200, add 2,000 years, and then on the current year, add 100 or something. I forgot. This was March 2025. So, yeah. 411 is 2025. So, yes, on right. 304 to 411. And Last of the Architect, 310 to 390. You have Laszlo Sonrad, 307 to 409. After Freeze. Sonrad was preceded in death by his wife and the blood and his friend, as well as I forgot to write the stories. Anyways, so I'm gonna push myself. The chamber is just last. This is where his last speech was supposed to be. So, when Sonrad Sonrad knew his time was ending. He wasn't sick per se, but he knew that it's just time to go. He got the cheers. So he had this place built. He then had all his children and his top advisors come to this room. Then, for 3 days, spoke of why monarchy should be dissolved, the future of the Nova Coalition, the divination of this kingdom, so on and so forth. And they all took notes, and I should write the final speech out. But yeah. So that's the government. That's how the triangle was established. Triangle was established because Sonrad had 11 children and 1 unofficial child. The unofficial child is Rastrad. But Rastrad is not a bastard. He's just not the child of the queen. And by Mayfield, by the monarchy in Mayfield, he isn't an official child. When Sonrad made peace with the Mountain Man chief in Frostland, the thing that cemented the peace was the chief gave Sonorad one of his daughters. And the daughter, how the Melvins made peace, was married to Sonorad. Don't get me wrong, this was not a forced relationship. She loved Sonorad. Um, she is still alive, so you can imagine that. Okay, well, she's actually probably, at this rate, would be dead. I'd say she's about 90 now, and was 60 at the time. Yes, Sonorad was old. Uh, yeah. And they consummated the marriage, so on and so forth, and that made Rastrad. Rad is the Sylvian. Well, Rad is well, Sonorad, and Raz is the name of the chief. The name of the chief was Raslin. So Rastrad. And Rastrad, in his story, dies 12 years later. He dies out north fighting the Nova Cretins. And the Nova Cretins, Cretin, okay, in Sylvian, Cretin means makers. It does not mean like Cretin, like disgusting creature. But this would be the capital city of, like, this Truxton. It's Trust, the city of Trust. And it's just a place for Rastrad. It's Rastrad City. It was to show the peace between them all. And, yeah. Rastrad, he dies fighting the Nova Cretins north. Now, the Nova Cretins are people who want to establish the country of Sonoravia. But they want to wipe out Mountain Men. So, it's not Ravia, AVA, it's EVA, Sonoravia. Because General Ava was Sonorad's friend and mentor, and he was killed by the Mountain Men in a surprise attack, etc. And they're supportive of them. They want the Mountain Men to be wiped off the face of the earth. The Fildians and Mountain Men. It's an ethnic conflict. When they died, when the Frostland countries, when Frostland was warm thousands of years ago, or was freezing, that was the beginning of Frostland becoming Frostland. When Frostland was freezing, the Fildians came to Mayfield. They came to Mayfield was not Mayfield at the time. It was just the mountain. There was no city. The mountain lived in the mountain. And the name of the mountain has been lost. But this is when the furry conflict happened. They kicked them out of the mountain. They were the Eris civilizations, the first civilizations there. Out in the Eris River. You had the Dora. The Dora Kingdom, which was at every mountain. And you had the Bedlam Kingdom. The Bedlam Kingdom was the weaker of the kingdoms. However, when the many other races came to settle in, like the Kokrani from the west, yeah, the Dorians were not a race that they were a race made by mixing. They weren't a race made by anything else. The Dorians are a mix of Kokrani, Scythian, and Mountain Men. The Thildians. So in April 2024 is when I decided to have a major war on Minecraft World. And yeah, it's the Mountain Man War. And we have been in the Mountain Men fallouts ever since. And in my Minecraft World, 100 years has passed since then. So, yeah. So, yeah. They hate each other so fucking much. And I think I've already explained about Eleanor. But there's two more things I need to explain. So fast forward in the lore and all that. This is the Sonorad family banner for administration. This is just the Sonorad family banner. Wait, no, that's the Mayfield banner. This is the Mayfield administration. Sonorad administration. And this is, of course, the capital. No. Unfortunately, my stuff broke, so there are tables here. And yeah, that should be everything. So, yeah. This has been in life update and everything.